Alexa, accept call.
You received a call from an inmate incarcerated at the Department of Corrections.
Yo, what's up, K-Dogg? Oh my goodness. You're telling me you're going for another degree? How many you got so far? Man, I tell you what. You're in there for life, no possibility of parole, and you're going for your third degree. That's dedication right there, bro. That is true dedication. Well, yeah, I guess. If society doesn't want you, you might as well just make the best of what you got. Nothing wrong with that. It still doesn't make any sense to me. You would do a whole lot better out here with the rest of us, making money, mentoring people, proving to the world that you're a smart man and that you can move on with your life. It's just that for some strange reason, they don't want to accept that. I guess it's their loss. But then again, that's the way the judicial system works. We find that it's easier just to lock you up and pay for it. I don't know. Yeah. I hear you. Well, Thomas Jefferson, he said there's no justification for taking away individuals' freedom in the guise of public safety. I guess they'll think of anything just to lock people up. It makes them feel better, maybe. Yeah, for real. I don't know. I guess you're right. Well, and you have to look at it like this. There's a few people that get locked up, and once they meet you and talk with you, you might say something or do something or just open something in their mind that will make them change their ways. So when they get out and get back with their family, they really are a better person, Yeah. Well, yeah, I guess, you've been in there for a while, so I guess you would be kind of like a grandfather figure for people. You're not one of those little gang leaders or anything, yeah? Yeah. Oh, that's good, yeah, respect. Okay, so I'm sure you see all kinds of different people pass through there. And, I've talked to a few that say that the guys that's been in there, they're little mentors and stuff, they feel sorry for them. Yeah. Well, yeah, I guess that's true. And yeah, okay. All right. Yeah, you won me over. But, I think that I think what you're doing for them in there does help. I really do. We can only do so much out here. You guys give us a call. Except when you're in lockdown and maybe they're being punished or something, they can't contact anybody. It is nice just to be able to sit down with somebody who can relate to them. I've never been in prison, so I don't know what it's like to talk to somebody that's just got out or sitting in prison and they're a little confused and don't know where to turn. I guess you would have much more of an influence on them because you can tell them something that they can believe, and you can give them advice because you've been there. There must be some divine reason, I suppose, that you're still stuck in there. And have in your particular case, are you able to apply for resentencing? You think maybe if you can convince a prosecutor and a judge.
You have 60 seconds remaining.
Well, I guess it really doesn't matter. It is what it is, and I am so glad you have that attitude. You could get angry, and you could run out there and strangle a person or beat people up. You could start a gang and just watch the folks come in, and as they get released, they go out, and then those lifers will get in and team up with you, and you can just roam the halls, and nobody will touch you, except that you choose to go get some education, keep your mind and your body in shape, and work with the other people. I guess, well, Yeah, well, you really don't need to pay back society. You've been in there long enough. But, well, yeah.
You have 10 seconds remaining.
Okay, well, it was nice hearing from you, and I'm glad that you're in classes and that you're doing well. If there's anything, any help or support or something like that you need, well, there you go. That was a conversation with the wonderful K-Dogg. Now, of course, his real name is not K-Dogg. That's his street name. He's a man that's been in there for just over 25 years. Convicted for life. He committed murder during an armed robbery. He and two of his little co-defendants. And they convicted him and locked him up for life with no chance of parole. So he's one of those guys that just will never see freedom. He's going to die there in prison. And, the thing about that kind of situation, it's not really K-Dogg. It's just the system itself. We have the option of locking people up for life or giving them probation or letting them loose. That's what the court system's all about. We hear the case, we decide what we want to do. And in that particular case, they decided to keep him locked up. He is, 25 years ago, he was considered a dangerous person and should not ever be back out on the street. And kind of makes me wonder, how do we know the future like that? How do we know what people are? There are people that we stand next to in line and people that we work with that could be a lot more dangerous than him. They're about on the urge or about to commit a crime, maybe go out and get drunk and hit a couple of people while driving down the street. We don't know. Those are the kinds of ones that you want to just lock up, to keep them from doing something, prevent a crime. But really no way of knowing that. It's just after the fact. And then we just make this assumption that we know what they're going to do. So I think the thing I'm really concerned about with this particular call is just the sentencing. This you have to look at it like this. Let's say you go to an auction, and you want to buy something there that really catches your eye. You just have to own this. This is your destiny. And so you set aside $500, and you walk in there, and you go through all the motions. You take a look at the item. You're ready for your moment to come up. And then the auctioneer walks out and said, next up, we have this item that you've always wanted for your whole life. And we're going to start the bidding at $50. Do I have $50? Anybody? $50. $50. And then you make your bid. $500. Well, of course, you win that, and your whole budget's gone. And I'm sure, you think back, now wait a minute, I could have gotten this for $50. Who pays all their money right out the get-go, right up front? Well, maybe Drew, in Colorado, I'm sure Drew, he would do something like that without a problem. It's like, yeah, $500, I have no problem with that. But when you think about it, you spent too much money. You had an opportunity of walking away and saving $450, maybe buying some other stuff. But you went ahead and spent all your money up front. And that's the way I look at these sentencing. Some of them are dead on the money. If we got a person that assaults his wife, goes to prison, gets out, and then he assaults her again, and then they lock him up for, 10 or 15 years, it's because he's showing the potential that he's not going to change. It's not even making an effort. There's a lot of people that's on that revolving door. They're just not making that effort. And, the only way we're really going to know that is if we just sit down and talk to them. We have no way of knowing the future. And at this point, it really doesn't matter. And the past does matter, except we're trying to clear it up, sweep that under the rug. And the way we do that is we put the person in prison. We find the person, we put the person on probation, or we do them on house arrest. This is the way of easing our pain from something that happened in the past. And I like that idea. If K-Dogg in his particular case, he and his friends, they knew what they were doing. They went in for to rob, and then it got out of control. The people that they were robbing decided to fight back, and a gun goes off and somebody loses a life. In his defense, he was saying, yes, I did wrong, I was robbing, except I consider this self-defense. Of course, the jury at the time, they saw it differently. But what if, instead of spending all that money per day to take care of them, that amasses over the years, it could cost $30,000, $40,000 easy per year just to keep him locked up. And then as he gets older, he may need eyeglasses, dentures. He might develop a disease and have to get surgery or medication. There's a lot of things that could come up in the future while he's locked up. And we're the one who's paying the price for it. So think of taking that money, and when people get arrested, sit down. And the first thing, of course, we want to know is, why'd you do it? What can we do to prevent you from doing this again? Would locking you up, is that going to help you ease your desire to go out and commit a crime? Sometimes these people, they're just living for the moment. They're not thinking about the future. You could talk to a lot of inmates out there and say, didn't you know you could get caught and go to jail? Of course, they're not going to say, well, yeah, I knew there was that possibility, and if I got caught, yeah. There's some of them that do that. They'll go out and commit the crime just because they want to go to prison. And once again, talking to them, we'll realize that. A counselor could sit down and say, why are you here in prison? Well, I want to be in prison. I was visiting a young lady one time in prison, and we were sitting out in the waiting room, or actually in the visitation room, and she was on that special revolving door program. You get out for a little while, and then you go back for a longer time, and then you get out for a little while, and then you go back for a longer time. That was her life. So I looked around the visiting room, and I saw some other inmates in there and their family, and I said, so why do you keep coming back here? Is it because of that woman over there? She's a cute girl. You come back just to visit her, to hang out with her? And, she looked at me and she said, well, in here, there's control. We have the medical, we have a place to sleep and food. And then they'll let us know when to go to classes, and they'll see to it that our house stays good, give us showers and clean clothes. And then when I get out, I have all this urge to do right and to do good stuff. And then I just don't trust myself to make the right decision. There's nobody around to guide me, and that control is gone, and it just causes me to relapse. And then here I am. And when she's in prison, it's not so bad because her friends are there, even her family members. And when she gets out, she doesn't get the support that she's looking for. So she got out shortly after that. And I started working with her, and I remembered what she said. You know, she needed something, and I didn't jump into her life to control it, but I gave her some goals. And when she would get lazy and want to go party instead of reaching those goals, I would scold her about it and let her know what it was causing in her life. I would emphasize family. You know, you need to go see your dad. You need to talk with your mom. You need to hang out with your sister more. And while she was in prison, she met a woman who was a little more controlling and someone who really showed interest in her and wanted her to succeed. And then, so they stayed in contact. And when she got out, they hooked up. And now she's on a better path. And it's because was led to the right point, and she hooked up with the right people. Now, there's no guarantee that everything's going to work out for her. But when I talk to her mom, and her mom says, wow, this is the best I've ever seen her, and the longest I've seen her stay out, that's heartwarming, you know, and that's going to save us some money. Because let's look at it like this. Let's say not necessarily her, let's say anybody. Let's just make somebody up. This person goes to trial. And then the prosecutor gets up and presents the case, and the defendant gets up and they defend to the best they can. And then before the jury goes back to make the decision, the judge looks at him and says, okay, whatever decision you come up with, just remember, if you convict this person, you will be paying the price for as long as this person is locked up. Now, I've been on a lot of juries. You know, I've never had a judge say that to me, and I never really thought about that when I get back with the jurors and we start deliberating. Just think of that, though. I'm not going to say the worst crime out there. Let's say somebody stole your car, you know, and when you got it back, it was just total. So you had to get the insurance to buy another car, or at least a big part of it. So let's say this happens to you. And so you think, I have the option of putting this person in prison and paying the whole bill, or I could have this person out monitoring this person, keeping this person from stealing other cars, you know, by reporting to probation officers every once in a while, or being visited and being expected to meet certain standards or go back. And this person stays out, pays taxes, and pays a fine, you know, makes an effort to financially reimburse the people who put them in there, or who imposed this sentence, let's say. Now you have that option, and then you have the option of putting them in prison and paying for it yourself. Now, if you look at each individual person and you look at the billions of dollars we spend, doesn't it make sense to have this person out, not committing any crimes, and then paying you back? You know, if you put that much confidence in the person and say, rather than lock you up, you'll pay us back in another way. Now, once again, it's not a 100% guarantee that this person won't commit anything. And we've known situations where a person gets out and commits another crime, and then, of course, the public gets out and says, you know, if that person had stayed in prison, this never would have happened. Well, that sounds good. But can you really guarantee that? If that person, you know, it's easy to say, my car wouldn't have been stolen if this person was in prison. Yet, maybe it's in the destiny, in the stars, that your car would be stolen. And maybe the fact that this person stole it, who just got out of prison, gives you a reason to justify having prisons. Likewise, what if a person was locked up in prison, didn't steal your car, but somebody else did, who had never been to prison? Would you walk up and say, if I had locked this person up last year, after this person was caught shoplifting, my car never would have been stolen? We could always justify anything that we do. We just need to be careful to do the right thing. I don't want anybody to die because somebody got out of prison. Yet I don't want anybody to stay in prison for an extended period of time and not really accomplish anything. A person could go to prison and then come out and still go back because we're not doing anything different. Let's at least try something. If we let a person out, put this person on probation, monitor this person, and this person is paying us back for the crime monetarily, and then messes up somewhere along the line. It's not as painful to the criminal's family if this person goes back, because we tried. We did everything we could. And to me, to spend a little money to put forth a little extra effort, I think that's worth it. I would rather say we tried everything we could and the person still wouldn't change than just to lock the person up with a bunch of people who really don't care about that person and then throw the person out on the street and not offer any assistance whatsoever and expect that person to be a better person. We all have different motivations in our life. And we can't say a person is born a criminal and just needs to be locked up. It's just that this person wasn't given the opportunities that we had. I know some people that are in prison who's somebody very close to them, like their father or their grandfather or their brother, died. It could be a natural death. It could be suicide. It could be that person was murdered. And it just devastated them. Or people that were hanging out with their friends and then their friends start using drugs and then they get caught up in it. A situation just kind of pushes them off the edge. And if we get control of that situation or if we eliminate the cause, maybe we'll do something better. That's what I'm thinking. Now, if we had the option, let's say we had a vote next Tuesday. We could spend $1 billion and buy more prisons, or we could spend $1 billion and set up alternative sentencing, a whole program that would find and work with individuals to get less people put in prison, to reduce crime. I think that would be a pretty good little alternative for us. Of course, anybody that picks the prisons, like, yeah, wow, we're building 6 more prisons. This is going to be great. Let's lock up as many people as we can. That Drew and his family. I don't know. That to me, I don't know. Is that a sense of accomplishment? Welcome to the great state of Michigan, the highest number of prisons in the country. Yay! I'm thrilled. Hey, let's call Drew and go out and have a party. It just doesn't click. I'm thinking we can do something to stop crime. And we can't do it by pushing one button and expecting everybody to follow. It's just like if there's a drink you don't like, and your friend fixes it for you and hands it to you, you're not going to suddenly start liking it. He could say, well, what if I poured it in a different glass? Or what if I chilled it for you? Or what if we started talking about fancy food? Would that make this drink taste better for you? And then it's like, well, no, I just don't like this drink. Okay, fine. We're just going to lock you up for 15 years. And when you come out, you are going to like that drink. I don't know. Drew could say whatever he wants, try to justify that, locking people up. We got a bunch of jaywalkers in the world. Let's lock them all up. We got a bunch of people stealing cars. Let's just lock them all up. Oh my goodness, the drugs, they're bad. Lock them all up. That has never worked, and it never will. And I know everybody out there knows the meaning of insanity. That is just insane. Yet, here we are. So, I'm on that little prison reform thing. Not necessarily to change the rules and stuff, but to one day have to walk into a prison and say, I'm sorry to inform you this, but this prison is no longer needed. You folks are going to have to be laid off. Imagine the terror, the worldwide panic because prisons are being shut down across the United States. Oh, heaven forbid. And Drew, I don't know. I know you like these prisons. I know you want to build more. Yet, we got to draw the line somewhere. Oh, well. Thanks for letting me vent here. It is what it is. Have yourself a great day and go out and make wonderful memories for tomorrow.